What is going on, everyone? We are here for the 7th episode of the meditation series, and we are getting close to finishing this one out. We talked about planting the seed, protecting your peace, preparing for the storm, weathering the storm. We talked about the calm after the storm, and then watching your dream start to grow. Now, when your dream starts to grow, there's one thing that needs to happen with a dream. Because you got to remember, a dream is just thoughts. It's just patterns and sequences that goes on in your mind. But when it comes to fruition, when it comes to into reality, that is almost like when the tree finally bears fruit. So today, we're going to talk about developing your fruit, which is the product of your dream. So today's breath cadence, we're going to go into 8 seconds in, 8 seconds out for the number of new beginnings. We're also going to use the 4-second breath, which is all about development. So 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out as well. So we're going to start off with the 8 seconds in, 8 seconds out for the new beginnings. Roll your shoulders back, close your eyes, shut off the lights, get into a relaxed state. Sit in a position where you can be comfortable and focused. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the chest, lengthen the spine. And let's start our breath cadence. We're going to do 2 breaths. In for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll the shoulders back again. Let's talk about developing your fruit. Now, when you develop your fruit, you use your dream as the blueprint to create the product. Now, we've talked about getting a house, getting a job, moving up in your job. And when you do all those things, you start with the blueprint, which is the dream. But in developing the fruit and producing the product of that blueprint, you first have to start with the basics. What is step 1 to executing your dream and developing your fruit? So, for example, if it's getting a new job, step 1 wouldn't be to fill out an application, unlike what many may believe. Step 1 would be meeting the look of the job. So, for example, if you want to be an executive at a company, before you fill out the application, you want to go out and get you a suit, something that shows you look like the executive, the uniform of the executive. And once you get that suit, you've already started to prepare that fruit. So then when you do fill out the application and you walk into that interview, you look like the role that you're applying for. Now, if you're starting your own business, you want to start off with creating the product. So, for example, if you're creating a shoe company, go out and buy that first piece of fabric to create the shoe. Even if you don't have money for the rest of it, buy that first piece of fabric, because that's how you develop the fruit. You get that first piece, that first little fiber ready to go. And then from there, you can build around it. Let's do our 4-second breaths. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale on your own count. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. As you focus on that first piece of your fruit being developed, next I want you to figure out what goes around it. So when we weathered the storm, we talked about building up walls. The same thing applies when developing your fruit. Take the blueprint, find the first step, execute the first step. I'm going to use the analogy of building a house from here on out. So when you build a house, you start by building the floor. And as you put the floor down, you want to go into starting to build the walls around it. As you build the walls around it, you then begin to add pillars. And the pillars inside the house are what's going to hold up the roof. And then lastly, you put the roof on top. And then from there, you add the door. And then as the house is fully built, then you start to input the furniture and the appliances and everything in there. Now, when we planted our dream earlier in this series, that was the blueprint. As the blueprint sprouted into the tree, the fruit is what we have to create. So the creation process of the fruit is how the ripe apple comes off of the stem. And it's very small to start with, and then over time it begins to grow. Think about your dream as that fruit in the small unripened stage. It's out there, you've already created it. But to develop it, you gotta put time into it. You gotta water it. You gotta keep going through the same process you did when it was just a seed. And in order for that fruit to develop, you have to input more time. And it's not much about patience, but more about persistence as you go on in this portion. Because now you have to tend to the fruit, ensure the fruit grows, ensure it stays healthy. Think about your dream in the same mindset. Let's slow it down. Take a 8 seconds in, 8 seconds out breath. Inhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold here, nice and silent. Now what I want you to do after we leave this series and this session is over, one thing I want you to take away from this: how are you going to develop your fruit? What is the first step you need to take to develop your fruit? If it's getting a new job, what is that first step that needs to be taken? If it's starting a business, think about what is the first step you need to take. Getting a house, first step. Whatever your dream is, you've already created the blueprint. And now that the blueprint is there, what is the first step of executing that blueprint and developing your fruit? We're going to do 2 4-second breaths. And as we do these 2 breaths, think about that first step. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Use this time, this silence, to focus on the first step in developing your fruit. Whatever that step may be, see yourself doing it. See yourself making that decision. And by the end of today, make sure you execute that first step. We're going to finish with one more 8-second breath to get the new beginning of developing your fruit started. Reset your shoulders, roll them back a few times, lift your head up, make sure your spine's aligned, and then inhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go out and develop your fruit. I'll see you in the next session.